In 2016, the much-loved Pleasure Island theme park in Cleethorpes announced its closure. The theme park opened in 1993, and over its 23-year life, it amassed a wide variety of rides. But where did they end up when the park closed? Let's take a look at just some of the unexpected locations where they ended up. Boomerang Indonesia. This was Pleasure Island's marquee attraction, a Vekoma-built coaster that sent riders through a cobra roll before going up a second lift hill that dropped you back through the same sequence backwards. The Boomerang stood at 116 feet tall and reached speeds of 47 miles per hour. This ride ended up being sold to the Trans Studio Bali theme park in Indonesia, where it still goes by the same name. If you did want to relive the Boomerang experience though, fear not. A duplicate model is still in operation today at Pleasurewood Hills theme park in Suffolk, which was in turn bought from American Adventure upon its closure. Alakazam Chile. Alakazam opened at Pleasure Island in 2002. A flying disc ride that sent riders hurtling around a huge disc whilst being raised in the air. The ride was sold to Fantasialand in Chile, being reopened in 2019 at its new South American home under the new name Superhero. The ride, however, seems not to be present on the park's website, so who knows where Alakazam is now. The Hyper Blaster, Michigan, United States of America. The Hyper Blaster opened in 2000 at Pleasure Island, a 90-foot shot tower that gave riders that sudden sinking feeling as it suddenly dropped at the top of the tower. This ride was originally placed into storage, but was eventually bought by Navy Pier, an attraction on the shores of Lake Michigan in the USA. Pendulus Cornwall. The Pendulus was a clock-themed frisbee ride located at the back end of Pleasure Island. It opened in 2003, and upon closure, it was sold to Flambard's theme park in Cornwall, where today it goes by the name of Skyforce. I suppose they just didn't have time for the whole clock theme. The Flying Chairs. Here, there, and everywhere. The Flying Chairs were the first ride you stumbled across upon entering Pleasure Island, situated in the courtyard next to the main gates. The ride was removed and sold to a travelling funfair company, who now tour the ride across the UK. So who knows, the Flying Chairs could be coming to a school playing field near you. The Gravitron, Barry Island. The Gravitron has come full circle. When new, it opened at the Barry Island Pleasure Park. It then had a short spell at Alton Towers before ending up at Pleasure Island. The space-themed ride would spin at high speed, making the occupants of the vessel stick to the walls inside. This was a very popular ride at Pleasure Island, and has now returned to its original home in Barry Island. The Falls of Fear. Demolished. The Falls of Fear was a water slide ride in which visitors would venture down pitch-black tunnels on inflatable boats. Unfortunately, the ride was never purchased and was demolished. Terrorak, Iraq. Located close to Pendulus, the Terrorak was very similar to the old Ripsaw at Alton Towers. The ride was bought by the Sinbadland theme park in Baghdad. It didn't travel alone though. It is joined at its new home by its former Pleasure Island siblings, the Astroslide, Obliterator, and Voltar. The Tommy Tinkerboo Adventure. Here, there, and everywhere. The Tommy Tinkerboo Adventure was a boat ride through an enchanted land full of weird and wonderful characters. The ride's music would stick in the visitors' heads for weeks on end after visiting. Upon the park's closure, Tommy Tinkerboo's Adventure was broken up, and parts were sold separately at an auction. Some ended up as spare parts for other rides elsewhere, and some went to Pleasure Island memorabilia collectors. If there's one thing people remembered about Pleasure Island, it was most definitely Tommy Tinkerboo's Adventure Ride and its iconic music.